see if this starts properly today.
The UFC just round people up at the behest of ICE. You see what the Eagles are doing? Talking about how we needed to remain in Jurassic Park.
Can't hear it. I don't know if it matters.
He said I'm not everybody and their mom. I'm Wall. Well, that was our intro. I know I forgot to hit the share button, so couldn't nobody on here hear it. I'll just gig into it myself. But we are back. It's the Build and Destroy show. Oh yeah, I'm Wicked Meticulous. We got High Rise, we got May Dolly, and we do have an extra special guest today, bringing the heat for you guys. High Rise, go ahead and give our guest the appropriate introduction that is deserved.
All right, yeah. Well, I will try my best because our guest today deserves a lot of praise. He's one of the major people in the Northwest hip hop area, but to me, I'm sure his movement is worldwide. He's been and lived in many places in the country too. So I'm glad he's in the Northwest now, but he's really a nationally known artist with the nationally known movement that you'll recognize once I say it. He's a veteran, been putting it down musically and just for his people and for the cause, and just gets better and more militant as the time goes by. Now he's got multi-generational talent with his family in his movement that I know that's one of the things that our crew, tries to model that. And we have Ant Loc from Savage Family today, y'all.
Yes, we don't have the virtual applause button. We're still working on it. But hey, welcome. We really appreciate you being here.
For sure. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it all. I've been looking forward to this for a minute. I know I missed the last when I was supposed to be out here, so I've been looking forward to it. We just came back from a little show in Vancouver, BC.
Oh, so wow.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good. Immaculate from the battle rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And he's dope. So we kind of got up with him. It was cool.
Is he up there now?
He was up. He came up there from LA to get up in that show or whatever, to get up in the mixture with that. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good bill. That's major.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good. Yeah. I remember seeing him Scribble Jam knocking off Mac Lethal when he was like 14 years old. So I remember seeing, and I remember the scissor kick line. He said something scissor kick. It was like kick flip scissor. It was crazy. I remember hearing that. Was like ultra impressed for a youngster to do it. His energy was nice as a youngster too, so it was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's maybe the best battler from around here. Portland, right?
Yeah, from Portland. Made his name kind of all over. I think 2-time world rap championship with the Taurus and him on. What I'm saying, like together. So it was cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, shoot, man. I could go in off a question just off of that, unless Wicked, unless you want to steer it.
You run it.
I was just thinking, you mentioned you just had a show with Ilmac in Vancouver, and we're talking Canada, people. So, and you've been, the Savage Fam crew has been one of the major crews. I mean, since I can remember. And I mean, that to me, I feel like it was in the 90s, late 90s at least. Maybe
early 2000s.
Early 2000s. So,
yeah.
And you've done a lot of bills and a lot of shows. And I mean, I would just like to hear some of your fond memories of some of the big ones, some of the fun ones. And, let the people know some of the people you perform with, and you've really been around and done a lot.
Yeah, I think to us, well, I shouldn't say to us, to me, the dopest shows, I mean, realistically, probably when we was at Standing Rock with Immortal Technique and all that, and the drones were flying around. like checking us, and the feds were out there and had the whole spot jumping, cold, everything went kind of crazy out there. So it was really, that was an outdoor show. Then we did an indoor show with like man, people from everywhere. From, I mean, you know, what's that?
We just had Cam pop in with some
go ahead.
background
It's all
music.
good. So to me, like those type of shows, you know, we did Dead Prez with Dead Prez in Denver. You know, but I mean, it never really was about a name, I don't think. We kind of like, you know what I'm saying? You know, just going to places where people needed inspiration under the principles of what we were trying to do, right? And I can't really, you know, I went to a show once at Squaxin Island of all, you know, we went to a show at Squaxin Island. A youngster had passed away, and we were doing a show out there, and I forgot my lyrics to this song, and the youngsters, like about 3 or 4 youngsters, took the mic and started spitting, and it was crazy to me because that became something like I realized how powerful, you know. I mean, I already knew, but that was really a powerful moment for me. And there wasn't a lot of people at that show. It was just, you know, they wanted us to come up. We made our way up there, and then just people grabbed up, and you know, it was an interesting situation. You know what I mean? To me, like it was a really strong, powerful situation. Like to see some youngsters, real young, just grabbed the mic and took over for me. And that was kind of the vision in the beginning, anyways, right? Like the message, the music wasn't ours. It was the people's. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah.
Hey, shout out Squaxin. May, that might have been you.
That's your cue, man. That's your cue.
No, I didn't make it out to that show. That sound live right there to do it out there.
That was probably like '09. I mean, I'm so old now. You know, it's crazy to think about, you know, where it's at now. So,
Hey man, what's some of your influences? Because your music does have a power to it, and it's almost like medicinal. I just want to know, like, what'd you grow up listening to help spark you?
I mean, in terms of like music in general, I sit with my son, with my middle son. He's 17, and we kind of go over like music that I really, you know, Sam Cooke, Otis Redding. like I didn't go heavy on like hip hop. I really like, in terms of like social, like observation stuff, like Ray Love was dope to me. Like when I heard Ray Love's like uh kind of visualizing the struggle around them. It's like a lot of the Bay cats that were doing that from a perspective, you know, from the streets and stuff like that. I kind of, then I remember when I first, in terms of music wise, when I first heard Cormega, the Saga remix. I remember when I
Oh,
first
okay,
heard
okay.
that song, and I was like, damn, that's really powerful from the perspective of seeing the way like that struggle. And so for me, like being able to encapsulate like the struggle and be able to express it and have people um see what you're going through and understand they're going through a similar struggle and kind of try, you know, like to me, anything that could do that, like I really paid attention to. I listened to, I don't know if like Fiend did a good job of that. Fiend from the, you know, like to me was really like overlooked in terms of what like that, whatever that movie, he wrote a lot of music for a lot of people. At Fiend early on in like what, like the 2000s, late 90s and stuff, with that was like, you know, so for rap stuff, for hip hop stuff, that was you know, just trying to find a space where, you know, someone could inspire like a feeling in me, you know what I'm saying? And so like whoever, you know, just random songs probably here and there more than, you know, people.
Right on, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah. What how'd you get in the game in hip hop? You know, I mean, what's your origin story, and you know, where
Man,
were you and who put you on, and how'd you start, and where were you, you know, what was your first recording space? Like
on some real, like I was on the run, and I went to school at Haskell Indian Nations University in 2000. And I had just, you know, I randomly did music here and there, right? You know, like just like, you know, freestyle, spit, whatever, whenever. Um, I was decent. I just never went to a studio. I was good. People thought I was good. I'm not. I don't want to speak like on my own. Like, oh yeah, I was the dopest. People thought I was good. When I got to high school, there was like dorm room. There was a dorm room that had like a recording studio, and then I ended up kicking it at this one spot. They would call it Platinumized Studios, and they have that's Haskell Indian Nation University's in Kansas, like Lawrence, Kansas, right outside of it was like big. There's so many people from all over this place, right? This is the time like Drew Gooden's going to school at playing basketball there, and there's all kinds of different things. So at the studio, like everyone's coming, and so like I kind of took it upon myself from the native perspective to be up in there and try and battle everybody, and I was just kind of and I kind of and I was good. I was battling everybody, and I was doing good. And so because of that, they were like, "Yo, record." I started kind of recording. I was because I was on a run. There was a certain aspect of what I was doing and how I was like living my life that was kind of like my family comes from the movement, American Indian movement, but I really wasn't. I didn't take to that. I remember the stories. I just didn't take to that early. When I ended up going to high school, things slowed down in terms of life. So I was like, I could go to the little studios out there. Platinumized was the first one that I went with. There was this group called the Bomb Squad that was out there. Tony Gaines does a lot of work with like you think about he does like Jay Diggs from out here, Tech Nine from out there. He did a lot of recording from them, and he would be out there. They kind of had these little like interactions between like producers and stuff. And so I go out there and record, and then this cat from out there wanted me to come back and record an album in Tacoma. This was before when 151 had a studio in Tacoma, before whatever went on with him. You know what I'm saying? And so we came back, and he tried to have me record an album out there. And midstream through the album, I decided I wasn't gonna I was on like completely on like native resistance music, and like kind of shut down halfway through like what they wanted me to record my album about, and kind of like devastated there because they were funding it. They were gonna try and have me put out this, and not that it was them, like right, they weren't dictating what I was saying, but I was saying certain things already. And then halfway through, I was like, no, I recorded a song called Model and American, and the whole studio froze. Like it froze like the studio equipment froze. And I was like, oh, okay, this must be a meaning that I'm supposed to be doing something different, right? And whether or not it really was, because they were like, shit, this never done that before. The whole shit froze for like 3 hours. They were trying to get it fixed. Damn. And so, whatever that was, at that point, I was like, cool. So, though, what I'm saying, Platinumized, and then whatever that studio was. After that, I've been all over, what I'm saying? Undercast, the Lost Boys in Seattle now, what I mean? Like just here and there, just kind of, whatever. And then wherever, I'm not super picky. My music, like the music I've tried to do is like, I'll try to avoid, like in the early stages of our music, I didn't want to like go for anything except for inspiring people. There was no mission to do anything beyond that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Well, Cam, we see you in here. If you got a question, go ahead and take yourself off mute. I just don't want to just mess around with the angles.
Nah, I don't got a question, but I could really relate. I think all of us can, because I know you guys individually. I think all of us pretty much got into hip hop for the same reasons. I can only hear bits and pieces of what he's saying because I'm in a loud ass situation. But inspiring people, the people he shouted out, Otis Reddinish, like man, like I could relate to as a person that loves music and loves hip hop, like. And the point of trying to inspire people with that, and then using the old school and learning from it. I don't really have a question. I just want to say I appreciate the fact that he appreciates not only hip hop but music in the way that I think that all of us do individually. So shout out. I don't really know you. I don't think I've ever met you, but nice to meet you or whatever. And I really appreciate the way you was spitting it, because you was keeping it in a real place. And it was, you could tell it was a real answer, and he was giving specific stuff. So, and it was about inspiring people, which is what it should be about. It should be about the movement. It should be about the music. It should be about the people and the culture. No matter what culture you come from, that's what it should be about. So I respect that 100%. And I'm thankful that I popped in when I did, because it was like the perfect time for me to hear it. So yeah, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you likewise.
Well, look, my question is going right where you were already at. This mid point of them wanting you to record this album, and you like, fuck that. I'm ready to go full on the real, you know, the real mission based ideology. Going back to what you said, you heard stories as a youth, but it wasn't something that you really got. What made it click to where you just, it's like, I got to do this.
You know, I sat down. It's my good people to this day, right? Like really, um, and so I felt bad, and I still kind of feel bad in terms of like the way it played out. But genuinely, um, I was sitting back and like from here, from where I'm not Clam, they call us Clalams from the coast over here, by Port Angeles. That's where my peoples are from. My grandma got removed during the '60s during the relocation era, and she ended up in Seattle. She ended up moving all over. So like that situation with her. So we knew a lot of stories, but I was sitting there, and I remember I kind of like in the middle of all of that, like modeling American, what I was talking about in that, I was there out here in order to save money on bullets, like how much it was costing to kill off natives. They would take kids and like crush their heads with like, against the trees and shit to save money. And so that was like, so to me, they would make the mothers watch to be like, this is what's gonna happen, right? So like to me, I was like, I kind of thought about that and was like, damn, like what if like I was a prayer of like answered for them, like alive right now. And like if that's what it's supposed to be, then shit, like I can't waste a word, you know what I'm saying? So like that was kind of where some real shit, like that was, and at the and I sat down with my folks because I was like, my bad. His head was like, down because like he had put bread on that album, like a lot, you know what I'm saying? And I sat down and I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I apologize, but this is really like what occurred. We were like sitting in the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? And just like, and he was like, yeah, like I can't, yeah, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, and I wasn't trying to hustle him or be like like step out of it, like, but that was just really the experience. And so for me, at that point, it was full fledged, 10 toes down for my people. Probably made some mistakes along the way in terms of how it went or how I approached it, but that was just the feeling of it at that moment. And so I just like, that was it. No turning back.
Dope. High rise.
That's dope. I love that origin story and listening to. He's a little bit froze though. Can you hear us
I think he'll
still?
come back. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I can hear
And
you.
you're good. Okay, yeah. And hearing, I mean, this story is just good. I almost just want to hear. Did you start organizing then and start? Is that how Savage Family started? Was that sort of the push there? And is that how that began or what? Talk to us about how that entered into the equation.
Yeah, Savage Family was already in motion, like on some like 2001 when the World Trade Center, when that thing had the bombing, whatever happened over there, however you want to call it, when that happened, where we were at, we got pulled over that night by the pigs, and then no, if anyone takes offense to that's whatever, but we got pulled over that night, and they were like, oh, here's Osama bin Laden here, they were talking like about us like that, and it was like interesting because then like we seen the politics of it, like I seen I can't say, so it just like in terms of that existing how it was, that was like the like or that was like the day like Savage Fam itself in terms of what it was like born. And then there was some music that was interactive in terms, like I said, there was some music that was going on, and in terms of how Savage Fam came to be, like the name stamped on the music was like shortly after that, but then it was like full fledged, movement shit came like about a year later, full fledged movement Savage Fam, and so, we linked up with some cats from Tacoma HGS, and then kind of combined the movement of what that was, and it linked up and came together, right? And so, and then kind of moved on from there behind a song called Ancestors.
Dope. May, you got anything?
Yeah, man. I just want to say I appreciate how deliberate you keep things and how, you don't waste words. That you have this thing about getting as much as you can into this space. These little 2, 3 minute tracks, you pack in so much density and a lot of it ages well. And I just wanted to ask you what goes into like your writing process, or do you have to have a preferred kind of setting before you sit down and pin out some of these things?
Think about I think about every the experiences um of my peoples as it gone along. Like I didn't start in the mixture of it, like knowing all my traditional songs and cultural aspects. And so for me, um I was building along the way. That was the process. Like I was learning who I was along the way. And so for me, that's the part of the process of like I'm trying to lay out a template for people who are kind of stuck in the same position, and also for my children, and it's not just my children, but at the same time, having my kids around me is like is good for me to be able to say like what I'm gonna have to say, and say like, is this something that I would be able to hand off to them and say, if I wasn't here tomorrow, would they be able to listen to this and really say, okay, they're set with at least a foundation apart, to be able to build upon. And so for me, that's extremely important for what I try to do. Is to think like, some people want to leave a video behind or a book behind or just like bits and pieces. So for me, that's one of the most important parts of it, is to think about what will how will my kids take this, what could they walk away with, and it's again, it's not just then, it's my people's, my peoples are constantly, it's a continuation of suffering, a continuation of colonization. And so for me, doing that, working towards that, and considering what can be done. I don't this is the I don't even fully, like, I don't always say, um I try to make sure everything I say is calculated with the risk that some of the things I might say will get us, in a position that's like not wanted by other people, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We were on terrorist watch from 2007. I mean, I don't understand, we're not anymore, but 2007, we're on terrorist watch, couldn't fly nowhere, couldn't deal, just because of things that we were saying in certain ways and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so, for me though, um, I don't think that our people should, like, if you're capable to be able to speak, if you become a voice, whether or not you want to, you have to maintain that position. If you can speak, if your voice contains thunder, you have to speak in that manner. And that's just how it is. And that's reality. And so for me, all I constantly quit. Like what I'm saying by quit, I constantly am like, I don't want to, like, like I'm kind of done, getting old, whatever it may be in my head. And then it's like, my youngsters will be like, nah, like nah, we need like some of that, like we like what's going on, but we need some of the gritty aspects of what you say and how you approach what you've been saying. And so
Yeah.
I'll do something, right? I'll write something, put something out. Now it's a new era where you got reels and TikTok and stuff like that, and I wasn't really hip to that or really wanting to involve myself in that. But you know, uh, if the message needs to be heard and you're one of the messengers, it's I mean, you can't turn your back on it once you started. It's that's how it goes. If people ask you to do the work for it, then you got to, right?
I agree with that. Yeah. You got too much to offer, man. Still.
Well, look, I'm gonna take it again, kind of bending off of where you had touched on, leaving this imprint for your kids. And my question is, what's the difficulty or struggles? We're all on this podcast. We're all fathers, so we all are currently raising or have raised kids. What was your struggle in imparting on your kids the importance of the militancy aspect that you are approaching things with, and instilling that type of attitude, or just understanding within them, especially knowing, as you said, you kind of you didn't take the ancestral part of it. It didn't come to you immediately, but now you are the leader in that, in your family, and making that carry on. What's the struggle that, or things that you had to overcome to help impart this into your children? And now you, I'm sure you feel confident in them being able to take the reins from you now.
The concern is always like, it's a lonely road to walk when you like really, you know what I'm saying, when you care about certain things and struggles, and when you walk amongst people who have struggled themselves, because the way things work sometimes is that even your own will despise you for the love you show for them and trying to help them. And and that's a hard thing to do, is when you're trying to work to create change or whatever it may be, and then consider like the things you got to carry, the weight you got to carry, and then say, if I hand this off to my children got to carry that same weight. And it's not easy, right? Because you got to maintain like a strength and all those different things, even when you feel like you feel like you're gonna buckle or whatever it may be. You have to maintain strength because it's so heavy. And to think like my children have to carry that load later on, right? It's tough to be like, here, I'm gonna hand you this, but it's gonna be hard. And that's the hardest part for me, but they've been in the culture young, so they have these foundations that give them strength that I didn't have early on, right? Like they've been immersed in it for a longer period of time. They've experienced aspects of the culture that I wasn't a part of, that gives them strength. And yeah, but to me, the hardest part will be having an awareness that that they have to carry a heavy load. And again, a lonely, sometimes it's very lonely. Sometimes it's very the struggle, just because of the way, we've been raised and the way we've been, like I try to, teach my children certain things, but they're surrounded by a different world though. But where it's like you got to maintain toughness, mental health things, some shit that people are like taught to address, those type of things, right? So if there was proper aspects of it, it'd be one of those things where I feel more confident in terms of the world around them. I can't be there to hold them, what I'm saying, like all the time and keep them safe all the time, and unfortunately, because of the way this is, our culture comes from the land, right? Our culture comes from the land, and the land is always under attack. So therefore, if they maintain themselves as cultural people, they'll always be under attack as well. And so it's just how it is. And so under the circumstance, that's the difficulty, is to think that I'm going to hand my children a struggle, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I think that's a good point. Like you say, whether or not you were to do that, if they were to just live as their natural peoples on their land naturally, that makes them a target because of just the fuck shit system, and that's unavoidable. So you might as well get them ready.
No, yeah, for sure, for sure. I agree. I mean,
It's real. It's real. It's real, and it's sad.
No, for sure. And that's where we sit. Like my children know what their names mean. My youngest, his name is a fierce south wind from the mountain. Saying Shuat Shiakton is fierce south wind from the mountain. Like, he has some stuff to uphold because of that. Nixchanaquin is an old word from my, it's a person who it's a fierce, like kind of stubborn, crazy about war. That's kind of what the name, and those are things that like they have to carry with them. But at the same time, regardless what it is, these things are needed in this time right now, and so that's just kind of how it is. So
yeah,
Riceberg.
yeah. Well, I know just from listening to you rap and listening to some of your interviews, and even just picking up the pieces on what you're saying now, that I think that you also spent time in Seattle as a younger person, and then also, you know, with your people. And I know that that's a special place to hold, going back and forth. And you know, I had a friend like that, and he was kind of instrumental in bringing hip hop from one space to another. And did you play that role at all? And what was hip hop, the first memories of hip hop that you remember, like on your reservation? Who was doing that? Was that you? Were you the first bringing that? Did Seattle have anything to do with that?
Yeah, I would say arguably. I mean, because we would go back and forth because my pops is artist and storyteller, so he go back and forth. And I mean, just kind of go back to the relocation program, is that my grandma, when she left in the 60s, what they would do with the relocation program, they have you sign off that you won't return, right? Like, so you sign paperwork, say we're gonna put you in whatever, you know, whatever city, give you $3,000 and then a place to stay and a job. And you could, but that wasn't really the case. They might shoot them a little bit of bread and find a little place to stay or whatever, but it wasn't like that really. But the circumstance is that because of that, you know, coming back and forth wasn't, you know, quite as, you know, often for my pops. And but with me, he kind of started going back and forth, and I wanted to go. And so we'd be a little bit younger, you know, probably 11 or 12, and then yeah, about like 13 was, you know, in terms of the intriguing nature of what we look like and talk like was part of. But we talk, the way I talk about it now, the way things spread all over in terms of the coast, it's like out here, you know, hip hop music, rap music, it would have found its way anyways. But like there's other cultural aspects that found their way on the different reses that, you know, impacted, you know, detrimentally in some, you know, many instances too, like what people associate with like hip hop, which isn't really hip hop, but in turn like isn't fully, or you know, part of it is, and you know, different things, or sometimes the music associated with it. But you know, there's certain things that, you know, I was a part of that other people were, that just by how intriguing that is, people find that stuff empowering to themselves too, right? That's how things grow, is that when you live in fear, you end up wanting to be feared. So even music represented, like hip hop music represented that for people too, right? They heard a music that other people were like, oh, this is bad, this is scary, this is whatever, you know. And
Yeah.
so, you know, was I part of that? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I met cousins. I got cousins who like talked about when they heard this is like the music, like the Stealing the Sun Back album. They were like, yo, we played this at a party and everybody was like, yo, like, fuck, we gotta change. Mm. And then they met me and were like, yo, like, you're my cousin? You know, like, you're my cousin? Like, oh shit, this is crazy. And we got dope artists. Like, we got dope artists out. Like, it was like crazy, like some of my cousins, how dope they are. And they're just not gonna, like, you know, one of the dopest, Alchemy out here, he's like, you know, he was fentanyl addicted for hella years. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he been, you know, he, before that it was heroin. Before that it was, he's so dope. He's like the cat that, you know, people like, how do you spit out the top of your head? Like pull songs, whole ass albums out the top of your head, whatever subject matters needed, that kind of stuff. And just doesn't, he, you know, like he still got it. He just got clean recently. Got producers out here that are crazy. My cousin who passed away, man, Ricky Charles, Ricky Flores, like, man, production wise, crazy. So yeah, I mean, I guess in that aspect, yeah, now that I think about it while I'm talking about it, yeah.
Dope. Well, I see Chandra in the blurred part of Josh's screen. I'm sure she's got a question.
I'll get out so folks.
Yeah, no worries. I I actually was just listening. I guess like one thing that I like to touch on real quick is just that like in terms of hip hop and like connecting it to culture and everything is just like the language itself, you know, like how you were saying, you know, a lot of our people are storytellers, just in our own natural ways of being. And so I think that, you know, hip hop definitely like plays into that, but also just I guess kind of like the mastery of the language. You know what I mean? Like it's actually taking the colonizer's language and bending it to your own will in your own way and like making it powerful again to our people, right? And so like we're taking a tool that was always around, that was forced upon us, you know, if we're talking about specifically, you know, the English language and rapping in the English language and like and really being able to tell like our own stories and our own way, like, you know, using that language and using that tool. So I don't know if you want to speak on that as an experience. Like I just like I really connect with that type of thing too.
Oh yeah, no, and thank you for bringing that up, and that's dope. You know what I'm saying, the way you articulated that. No, absolutely. I'm a firm believer, you know, in the, you know, quote unquote master's tools can take down the master's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the way things work. And so for me, no, absolutely. Like when everything that I did musically and we talked about, because there's nothing special about me within, you know, the movement, the organization, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing like so when the conversations were had, everything was strategic, right? Like it was strategy to say like what we have to be dope, we have to be like what we have to say has to be on point. We have to be able to sneak things in. We have to be able to go, you know, extra hard sometimes. We have to be able to go, you know, spiritual. Like we have to flip everything. Like we did, like we planned. Like everything was planned, right? In terms of the way that we were going to approach it. So absolutely, 100%. You know, that's the thing too when you're talking about it from various, you know, is that one, you know, you have over 70%, even more, probably even the 80% now native people living in areas where they don't have access to their traditional languages. You have people who exist in different spaces, you know, even talking about the relocation program where you had Lakotas who ended up moving out to Seattle, to the coast. You have people living in LA, you got people living in Oklahoma City from way far away, and their only common language in those moments was the colonizer's language, right? The English language. So, you know, utilizing it for any means, for especially when you have the capabilities to tell shared stories, to lead people back to spaces. Like this shit led me back to my my traditional songs, like hip hop, rap. This shit led me back, like realistically, you know. So for me, yeah, absolutely. I think that's like, you know, I think a lot of people have an awareness of that. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't articulate it, or if they don't have a strategy behind it. But we definitely had a strategy. Like we definitely were like, this is what it is. We knew who we were and what we were. And I never wanted to present like I was someone like special in the situation of like, yo, I'm a sacred whatever. I'm no, not at all. Like I'm lost trying to find my way back. You know, and if I find my way back, or when I find my way back, I'm still gonna utilize this tool to be able to bring people back to where where I'm sitting at, right? And so that's kind of, you know, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's why we got Chandra popping through. Well, look,
I pop in every now and then.
well, look, I want to at least do just a quick touch basis on and be cognizant of your time, because the interview segment, we're kind of at our normal minimum time of 35 minutes. We're actually at 40. We know you pulled over. We can come up with plenty more questions for you, but we know you also have time. So, and are en route traveling. So I at least want to give you the opportunity to give us what you want us to know about what you've got upcoming. Where can we check you out, check Savage Family out, YouTube, You said you're rocking on TikTok. Like, how can we check you out, and what do you have coming up that we need to know about?
Right now, like honestly, like my son, Smokehouse is to me is the one right now for me. He's rocking with a youngster, co-style from he's a New Channels kid in Vancouver. They're moving around to me, um, like to me in terms of I know a lot of people, but like as it's gone, what they're trying to do right now, what they're doing is significant in being able to bring together certain. They're taking things a step further without being pushed in that direction. So Smokehouse is really, for me, I'm wherever I'm needed to be. I kind of step back and then I come back whenever, I'm not super into music unless people ask me to come back. I haven't been really working heavy on we got a TV show that will be coming out about the Coast Salish struggles, and it'll be pretty heavy. It's going to be heavily. We're going to control the soundtrack of that, so that we can have and hip hop's going to be heavy in it. That's the reason it's kind of like is we're working to make sure we control certain aspects of it, and also that if it ever gets like removed, if we like if any of us end up getting removed, like it's just gonna stop. Like we're not gonna let it keep getting written. We just want it to be done if we're not in control of the story. So it's dope. It's gonna be like I said, a lot of music gonna be involved in there from us directly, like from people that can tell the story behind it. So I think that'll be significant. But yeah, that's really like right in terms of what's going on right now. That's really for me, I don't know. I finished the Knife album. That was from my uncle Steve Charles. They called him the Knife. In the movement. He robbed banks behind getting funding for the struggle. He passed away. He got shot in the head, and what's it called? He was a paraplegic, and then he passed away. But he like laced me with everything I knew about the movement. He swam with the double-headed serpents. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what it is. And so for me, that album, The Knife, is super important. If you ain't heard it, go listen to it. Find it on Bandcamp. If you need a free access to YouTube, it's on YouTube. Whatever. I'm sure it's on other platforms. I don't really know. People somehow our music ends up on like all kinds of different platforms, and I don't know how, like who puts it on something. And I don't know something, but it's whatever. But go listen to it if you need. I think it's dope. And I'll be making music here and there, and if it comes out, I'll let everybody know. I got no plans for it though. I got plans of supporting my son, and that movement, however he wants to direct that, right? We got right now they're planning on trying to cut down our forest out here. I'll be in the woods out here, probably do some shows and some TikTok freestyles out there. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, but that's kind of the move right now for me is I'm really focused on that right now, because that's where our stories come from. They're trying to cut down the remaining stories we have left, and in terms of my auntie Tommy, my auntie never seen anybody that was non-native until she was 9 years old, and she told me where the stories come from, and she told me the stories come from the land. You know what I'm saying? She said like even if the people don't want you back, the land wants you back. And so it was really important for me to understand that. And so now, like, understanding, like, the significance of, like, there's some spots where if my children need to return, if these things continue, there's places they can't necessarily return if they're gone. That doesn't mean everything's gone, but while I'm here, I want to make sure that I maintain as much as I can, right? And so for me, that's going to be, anything I do musically will be connected to that as well.
For sure, dope.
It's hard to reconnect with the spirit of the land if it's cemented over. So that's hella important. What was one more time though? What was the name of the documentary project that you're going to be doing the music for?
It's not a documentary. It's actually a TV show. Right now, it's a working it's a working name right now. We're trying to call Whale Writers, like with the S at the end, because we're trying. But we're working right now. We're working. The reason the name is the way it is a placeholder right now. I'm trying to change the people who helped write it. I don't like Well Riders because Well Rider was already utilized. I'm not into that, but it's also dope in terms of the way the story is told with the TV show, right? So it's dope. It's gonna bring in like traditional historical stories behind it. It's dope. It's dope. It's like, and people are kind of people wanting to go out under their names right now, like people who have names behind themselves in TV land or whatever you want to call it. So, but we're just trying to maintain the integrity of it. To me, it won't go out if it don't maintain the integrity of it.
That's amazing.
So,
I wanted to keep an eye out for that project. Thank you.
We'll let it, y'all will be among the first to know. It's all good once it's official.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, look, man, we definitely appreciate you stopping through. I think at this point we're gonna have to have your son Smokehouse come on since he's taking the music thing forward. So
yeah, let's do that.
We'll have Josh get that put on the calendar. But I want to thank you once again. We do appreciate and respect not just your time, all the input and effort and sweat and tears that you've put into not just hip hop, but we're not all natives, but me personally, I think I'm probably the only one that's not related to natives, but I do live in Tacoma, which is native land. The name Tacoma is a native, it's broken English for a native word. So, I just want to say salute you, and we are definitely, we're comrades on the same mission. We're all in the struggle together. So thank you.
Yeah. I'll send you the link to the show and hit you up about getting Smokehouse on, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's all good. Yeah, shit, you got any more questions? Go ahead. If not, I'm gonna strike. It's all good.
All right, now we're gonna let you take off, and yeah, just thank you once again, and we'll keep in touch for sure.
All right, I appreciate all y'all. Thank you for having me. Give me a moment of my time, y'all time to chop it up. Appreciate it. Y'all line up my son when it's time, and it's all good. And if I got anything else coming, I'll let everyone know.
Yeah, man, you'll be back. We'll get you back, man. We love you. Much love.
Hell yeah, much love, man.
Y'all take much love. All right, y'all.
All right.
All right. Well, yeah, you guys know what it is. We made it to our halftime break. We still got Cam, our man on the street, that now we can bring in, so I don't have to adjust the damn screens. Let me pop this in here appropriately. But and we got a special lineup for our halftime here today. Josh did request specifically a song, so we're gonna start. No, we'll end with that song. We're gonna start with Famulations on you guys, just because I want to do it like that. The video version, just because. You feel me? Can we hit play? There we go.
You want to make your proof a cupcake? I'll tell you how. I'm just a wicked A1 wise like the sunrise. Yo, fuck the police. The police bust caps here, there, freaking everywhere. Let's feed the Dutch with some bread. Nah, let's feed them with some lead. Amen to that. Yeah, I just said that. In our town, the sky is red. It's raining and thunder and lightning 24/7. That's not just war to me. That's war to this whole entire country. The Illuminati side is the devil's side. The devil's made man is the man walking with one foot in the grave. You've got a choice. E-fly out.
Yeah. Build to destroy, hilltop Tacoma. It's wicked meticulous, y'all motherfuckers been sleeping on us since the beginning. We started this a long time ago, but we ain't stopping. Motherfuckers thought we couldn't do it again, but here it goes. No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation. No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation.
In the midst of never forgetting law, but neglect what it was. Dialectic, y'all busy rhyming for credit, but wrong reasons did it. Wow, what an exception. exceptional letters. The headspace is larger than said grace. Parentheses with the emphasis on let landscapes till they sick of me. Rendering many reasons for dealing energy over the beats. Brought to you by the syllable slickery. Phantom mysteries, subjective matter for centuries. Neglect the chatter or I'll batter them viciously. Influential epiphanies to the 10th degree. It's the pimping of the massive sentences, this is key. I shouldn't have to defend what I've actually been. The past pretends I wasn't getting it in. Broke the trend of the bar graph with unprecedented bar class. The science isn't far from my craft.
No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation. No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation.
I eat with the hyenas, fly with the eagles, ride with the riders, talk peace with all my peoples, allergic to evil. I am meanie like Seagull, deaf like Roe, with 4 gangbangers in a Regal, driving illegal with no tats and insurance, endurance for 1 million rattlesnakes. I walk with the purists, black nuns, all black guns and stay loaded. I deal with a bunch of goons that speak decoded. Fuck the POTUS. We walk with tigers and dragons. I'm dragging a wagon of enemy eyes and laughing. King Jackson, tack master, black bastard. I elevate like UFOs. Fuck if you rap faster. I rap solid, no college but got degrees. Chopping niggas up like soft sausage with no cheese. Word to mama, I got the omelets. I hope you hungry. Bloody Sunday turning to Black Monday.
No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation. No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation.
Chilling like a villain, but I'd rather be a hero. You won't find no cape on me though. There's 2 types of people, Craigs and Debo. We the squad, major league, call us A-team though. Soldiers of fortune for the fam. I'm so with the nonsense, dodging the dumb down. The bullshit is constant. I can count my real ones on one hand, and we've been making records since before one fam. 1 shot, 1 kill, hold the gun, don't jam. Super God talk, words ring through the land. Don Jimmy the GOAT, you see the kicks? That was overheads like a field goal miss. Left brain, right brain, you can say I'm mixed. Tax City arsonist with the spits. On or off land, I cut throats like pirates. Made Dolly probably got another 100 bars that fit.
Doing a documentary about ashy niggas, bro, on the stars.
Don't break on me, Don James. Get lined up. As soon as you walk into work, you get a raise.
Your ankles are sweating, that's all.
Okay, they are. As soon as you walk into work, you're getting a 10-cent raise for having a cut. His boss been looking for 2 weeks. Hey, you've been on camera standing there asking people, have you been sick? Had any fever for the last 2 weeks of COVID? And people be like, nah, this nigga take his mask off and smell him. Smell him. And that's the only way they can get into the casino. Don J, smell him. I gotta smell him, nigga. Yeah, they good. They good, boss. They good.
You kin to me, my enemy, your enemy. Sisters, brothers from another mother, L-O-V-E. The little that I got, you know it's all yours. Your kids and your nieces, my nephews for sure. If I'm down and out, I know you help me out. Put me back on my feet, help me out, no doubt. Facts, that's how family do. Facts, vice versa, I'll do the same for you. Haters mean mugging, haters stay bugging. We hugging, showing love, keep it at 100. Positive vibes, you better know the times. Clock's ticking, we all gotta die. So enjoy each other company, forever tatted on my flesh, B-A-D. Remember, it gotta take a village. We understand that my squad is the realest.
No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation. No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms the whole basis of famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation.
I mouse say tongue with the tongue. Talk vibranium. What's understood doesn't need to be said. Arm, leg, arm, head, arm length aimed at your head. Fill up your thoughts with lead. A wizard magic, I cast a spell. I never tell. I'd rather sit in my cell. Freedom never for sale. I'd rather sit on my bell. My toxin is toxin. I'm awesome when I sauce him. I'm Johnny Cochran, William Van Spronson, Osama Bin Laden when I'm rocking. Bless you, nephew, and peace, my niece. I'm Hamdu Allah, grandmama. Pop that collar, grandpapa. All the ratas get the ratata. I shot shock your chakra. I'm a soldier with the soul of Jah. Bombing ya from Andromeda. I Baruch Ataya while wearing a black baklava. Eating baklava on the block, bucking ya.
No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms a home base, it's a famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation. Everything is all famulation. No blood relation, still famulation. Love forms a home base, it's a famulation. If you run into some trouble, call famulation.
We're substitutions and fake imitations. There's no obligations. Vibe moves, get felt relations. Connect famulation. Explore my talent since I first heard Mr. Magic Grover Washington. And now I'm in the lab every day like what's the poppin'? Feeling like my pops again till I start thinking like a son. Visions of my uncle pop in my head. We need to finish what we begun. Running up a check, mindset, residual ends. And bedspreads, bed bugs get fed the lamb's bread. When I quarterback Jimmy Plunkett on the tip of a coin flip. Front row scout ticket, fuck a guest list. I meditate with a zone of that wedding cake. Garlic cookie scent, mushroom, onion taste. When the cherry of this roller resonate. Feeling older from these body aches. Probably body this in one take and probably ain't gonna make the tape. Oh, great.
Oh, great. Oh, what an ending. What an ending. All right. That's our first one. First one. Round 2, the special request song. Oh, come on now. Come on now. Now it's playing around. I had this all set up, ready to go. Now the system want to freeze on me. What's going on? YouTube, come on. We got one more song to go. We're not getting it in? I guess not. Okay.
Zip zero zilch. Not a goose egg.
Okay, so that will be the end of our halftime segment, folks. Let me hit the stop share. We'll bring you guys back. We are back. Halftime break is over. It's the Build and Destroy show. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Oh, Cam, where are you at?
I'm clearly at this MF Doom fucking statue, clearly. Right? That's accurate. This is not a filter or nothing. I'm clearly at this actual place. This is the internet. This is how it works, right? I'm here, people. Look.
It's technology.
Look. Yeah. No, I'm on the east side. You know, I already know where I'll be. I went to the Mariners game. I saw Ohtani hit a home run or two. I saw Kershaw pitch his last regular season game and get his ovation. It was the last game of the season for both teams. Both teams made it to the playoffs. Both teams are my favorite teams. And so, like, with they kind of did it with baseball, too. They realigned shit. But back in the day, when I was coming up as a youngster, the only time the 49ers would play the Seahawks would be in the Super Bowl because they was in different conferences. Now they're not only in the same conference, but they're in the same division. So with the Mariners and the Dodgers, it's kind of like the only time they could ever really see each other when it matters, right, is in the World Series. So I kind of hope my two favorite teams get there. It'd be dope. And I wouldn't be mad if Seattle won. They ain't never won anything ever. So it would be cool. Yeah, but it was a good day. I went Friday too. Yeah. Saw my daughter there with it. Yeah, it was good. It was good times.
One message, but second things change. Sliding into DMs was so cliche. You fell in love, but all I said was hey.
What song we playing?
It was supposed to be for the halftime break.
Oh, shit, that's it.
Oh my god. This computer is
It's not computer love. It's computer craziness.
It's wild craziness. Wild craziness. But hey, we got some topics.
What you got? What's the topics?
Well, what do you know about the rapture?
I mean, like biblically, like historically, what do I know about the rapture? Like the one we're talking about currently, like.
Well, apparently there's people that thought it was like last week, and there were hella people
in
giving.
1999 and
No, I'm saying like it was.
And last week as well. Yeah.
I never heard of this shit before until
And
last week.
No, there was a dude in 2012. I was living in Jersey. There was a dude who like basically like gave away his millions because they knew that it was about to end.
Yeah.
And it didn't end.
Yeah, so that's what I just heard about the shit happening this week. All these people giving away all their stuff, quitting their jobs.
Yeah. How do I feel about it?
No, I mean, did you hear about it? Because it's like
no, I did. You already know I heard about it. Yeah, I did hear about it. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody that believes whatever they believe. But these same people don't believe in global warming, even though, look at Mount Rainier. Have you ever seen Mount Rainier look like an actual fucking rock before? Like, there is hardly any snow on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Have you ever in your entire life, you're old like me, like, have you ever in your entire life seen Mount Rainier look that much like it's about to be just a rock with no snow?
Nah.
Right? But global warming is wrong, though, right? Right? So, I mean, people are goofy. So, I mean, and I feel like that's the problem with electing people or having people in office because you don't know, they might be goofy as fuck. And they might actually encourage, now you put someone in power and they might encourage their agenda or not their, okay, let's put it another way, not their agenda, but like what their religion tells them, right?
Hell
It's
yeah.
going to lead to the rapture. It's Jesus' way, or it's Muhammad's way, or it's Allah's way, or whoever the fuck's way, right? But that's just the fucking like if he fucking had some acreage in a farm, you would call him a kook. You would call him David Correct. You would infiltrate shit and burn them the fuck out, killing women and children. But when it's a person in power, like a president or someone that's popular, it's different. So it's like, where does the agenda end? Like, that's my problem with the whole thing.
For sure.
In my opinion, it's. I mean, like, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but when it starts to dictate other people's shit, when you start to push that on whether women can do this or any human can do anything, then it's like that's not religion. Now you're becoming a fucking fascist, basically. And we already fought that war, I thought, anyways.
No, I like that. Yeah, pushing
You know what I mean?
their agendas on other folks. I just thought it was funny. I had never heard of it. I've seen all these videos of people like, yeah, this couple just gave me like $5,000 in balled up 20s and 5s. It was their whole life savings.
But you know what's funny though is like yeah, that's funny. But when those same people will be the most judgmental or the most disrespectful and have the most opinionated answers and stuff. But now that they feel like, oh, the world's about to end or the Jesus is whatever, right? It's like, let's give random people $5,000. Like, you should have been doing that your whole life. Not necessarily giving them $5,000, but at least giving them your time and your energy.
Yeah, it's too little, too late.
Yeah, because that's why, like, if there is a rapture, none of that's gonna matter because you're fronting, like being an actual good person who is like, I don't know, I'm on the fence, or being a person who supposedly believes and actually being a shitty fucking person, like you're not gonna make it, in my opinion. Like if there is all that, right? Being an actual good person and being like someone who looks out for people and the people you care about and like live into a certain standard or whatever means more than pretending to be like, I believe in something. And I think that there is an actual creator, as I call him, or the universe, or God or whatever, then that motherfucker is smart enough to know that person's a piece of shit and is pretending, and this person is maybe is not a piece of shit and doesn't necessarily, but like in the Bible it says to be shit like if you say you don't believe in Jesus, you can never go in heaven. That's crazy. So God is that he's that like petty. He's all knowing, but he's that petty. Like, no, that's not possible. So rapists could go in if they say I'm sorry, but I said I don't believe in them and I don't get a job. Like, that's crazy. Crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been Sunday fun day, and so if none of this makes sense, y'all can just delete the whole thing. But
there's no edit in the live. We're live. There is no edit.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like, man, like either way, you should already been living your life. You already should have been doing that. You already should have been doing that. If that's what you're gonna do in your last days, that's what you should be doing every day.
Facts.
If that's supposedly your energy, but it's not. That's fake with that shit, bro.
Facts.
They're trying to earn their way in there, and you should have been living your way in there. No matter how it was, just be authentic.
Well, man, I know you had some music reviews.
Oh, yeah. I wanted. Did y'all listen to the Mobb Deep single featuring Nas?
Yes, I listened to that earlier today.
Yeah. Yeah. What hit me off the bat is that production, man. It took me back instant. I don't know if he made it in that style of beat, Havoc and Alchemist. I don't know if they're tapping into old files and just updating them, or if they're just conjuring up that old sound. But yeah, it sounded like official Mob. So I have good feelings about this project with both of those guys' the history together and working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't necessarily say I'm a in-depth knowledgeable about Mobb Deep, but just the fact of them coming with this album, linking back up, and Alchemist being a big part of it, and getting it, you know, I know it's a win for hip hop, especially for folks that are, you know, 30, 35 and up, you know. Yeah. Young folks, it might not mean a lot to them, but for us to have something like this coming out, especially, you know, Prodigy being a very well-respected MC, you know, it's just a good look to me. It's just continuing the run of the dope hip-hop that's been coming out this year. Shout out to Mass Appeal.
Yes.
Yo, is Bryce still in there? Is this just us?
Yeah, he had to bounce. He had some family stuff to go.
I kind of echo what you said, Wicked. I mean, you guys already know. Like, I'm the world's biggest pop fan, so once you said "fuck that motherfucker," I was like, "Nope, not again." So, but Mob gets my respect 100%. And hearing May's review, it just makes me. I haven't listened to it, as I said, and my phone is gonna die very soon. But it's encouraging. It's very encouraging, and there's a bubble right now for old heads to make really good music, but also young heads to match that. Like there's I feel like hip hop's kind of having this moment where it's about to go back to being like some shit, like where it's all substance and no bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I feel like it's switching. I feel like the youngsters are like, I feel like they're like ready to say something.
Yeah.
And with all these older cats that are making these dope ass albums, it's like, yo, like y'all can do whatever over here, but this is the tier that we've been on for this long. So it's time for you guys to like step up for your generation. And I feel like I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right. I feel like that's gonna happen. I feel like there's energy in with especially hip hop, music in general, but especially hip hop. I feel like there's something that's gonna happen. Not the one thing, but multiple things is gonna go back to being music that is based off of something that actually matters and it's for the culture. not just one culture, but the culture that is hip hop and the people that represent it, the multicultural people that represent it.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking forward to being like, you know what? I fuck with Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? We're old now and shit. You know what I mean? Pop said that shit back in the day. And I already fucked with them after that. But it I like when someone tells you some shit and music finds you. You didn't go looking for it. Someone told you to listen to it or whatever. And then the music and you're like, oh shit. So even though I knew about Mobb, obviously, but May saying that it's like, okay, now I'm gonna go take my time and listen to this whole album. Yeah. And then you fall in love with it again. And now you go back and listen to all their albums over again. And, you know what I mean? And it finds you again. They like it's cool to find it by yourself, but it's really dope when someone that loves music finds it for you and like, yo, no, you should listen to this.
Yeah.
And then you fall in love with it. And you're their biggest fan. Yeah. Anyways, I'll be rambling. Sorry, guys.
You're all good.
Yeah. My phone.
Oh, looks like he's toast. But you had
you
also said you went through the Cardi B. You wanted to go talk about the success of that album and the.
Yeah, it just seems. I don't know. My algorithm is usually down the middle. Like I get both sides of shit most of the time, but it just seemed like Cardi's albums very well received, like culturally, and obviously something like that's making money for her bosses and so. But it's basically successful enough of an album where I was pondering, is it up there with album of the year, like with Clips? Was it that heavy of a drop to where it could be a contender? Because for the longest, ever since this came out, I've heard Clips is just kind of a unanimous. They're saying that Jid's album was strong, Chance had a strong release. Everything, it's not a competition or a battle, so to speak, but it's a metric everybody's kind of following quietly, is like who's gonna have the year. And I think Cardi B's release contends with Clips as far as, like I said, just impact, being culturally received, and whether it's planned or not, just having a song for everybody on there, just checking boxes. And does she have that?
Well, I know she did specifically say that. That was, part of what took it so long for her to get that number 2 done, was her intention on, trying to have something for kind of every different person. Yeah, she talked about on the Joe and Jada podcast about having some ratchet shit, having some just regular club, having stuff where she can, try to more bar out rapping wise. So she definitely did take that intentionally. I have to check out the album because I haven't heard any of it. So I can't.
Yeah, and again, like she's been one of them artists. I can respect her success and skill level, but as me, I couldn't drive around listening to Cardi music. Just like I couldn't really drive around listening to Nicki songs.
Yeah.
Unless they were like on a hardcore like mixtape where it was kind of rapidy. And Cardi B's album, compared to her first album, this second one was a lot easier for me to listen to in the car as a male rapper. I was able to listen to rapper bars and it didn't feel awkward, I guess.
Okay, well, I guess she accomplished that goal of having the rapidy rap songs.
Cause yeah, like I guess back then the delivery used to be kind of choppy, and my rapper brain would pick it apart and be critical where I couldn't enjoy it. But it seems like the second go around she has better like cadence, and she's got her breath control down, and it's just technically better for me as a listen. her delivery and stuff like that.
Well, probably, that just from, you got to think, how many shows did she do based off, her first run, the first album, and maybe a few singles here and there, but probably done a quite a bit of shows to where your skill level gets better from just the performance side, and then you could take that in as you're going into the creative side to really when you're crafting your songs and how your cadence and bars is, I would just assume you're trying to improve. Like, that your first album, it got well reviewed, but there's room for improvement. The rapidy rappers out there is going to critique you, and they probably did. So it's like taking those learning lessons from being on the road, but then also her being a social media person that reads the comments. I'm sure she read all the comments and took them and really tried to implement.
Yeah, she's I guess the recipe for a good album this year, it's probably been over the span of a lot of years if I analyze it, but duality kind of wins right now as a concept for your albums, because everybody that's had banging albums, they'll give you alternating. It's basically vulnerability and then strength empowerment and then vulnerability, strength empowerment. They're kind of toggling back and forth between those. Kendrick has mastered that for a few albums now, where it's kind of like the 1-2 punch. Like Tupac was great at that. Cardi B has that, these vulnerability tracks, bearing all, and then the next track she's walking on everybody, Clips. There's this duality thing constantly through that album, where whether it's spiritual duality or just literal duality, you could always point out, the ups and downs on all these projects, and it makes a fun little hike. As a listener, it's a journey and it's a trek, and that's why they stick with you. It's ups and downs. So these good albums create these moments that stick with you, and you can't really have a good journey without the ups and downs. Like, you don't just want a straight flat road for 100 miles straight. That's a boring drive.
Yeah.
But you add a couple of twists and turns, and I don't know, music should be a reaction and respond kind of activity. You're living with it and you're reacting to it in real time. So shouts to the people that, can still craft these arts like that, where it feels like you're on an audiobook journey, but it's a rap album. You leave with a full story, and you get all these questions answered for you without having to pry into their life. It's like, just wait for the book. Like, you don't got to stalk these folks and wonder who they dating or what are they not doing. Just wait for the album, and if they're a good artist, you're going to get all that anyways.
Word. All right, well, I think I'm going to save my last topic for next week. This 3-eye Atlas comet, because I want to get Josh's opinion, and we hopefully will have some more info as it gets closer on whether this is a comet or some other object coming towards the Earth. Well, you got any last words for us when we close out?
Dude, man, it looks like it's finna start raining, so get used to the precipitations.
Oh yeah.
Everybody that was complaining about it, here you go. You finally get your rain.
And I don't want to hear that shit until it's the month of May. I don't want to hear you complaining about the rain.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, yeah, there you have it. This is the Build and Destroy show. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Share it with your homies. Tell them to come through. We're here every Sunday around 5 p.m. to chop it up.